Hey guys, long time without uploading a video like this about non-dual meditation or self-inquiry. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna I'm gonna put the video after this short explanation of what I'm doing here, okay? And basically what I want to do is just to introduce this a little bit for you, because I've been going to these satsangs led by a spiritual teacher, very respected actually. He actually didn't want to teach for 3 years, and now he's back teaching. He said that he just couldn't help it. He couldn't escape. That nothing was working for him when he wasn't teaching. So, and what happened that led to this video was that 1 week ago I smoked some DMT right here in this place, and I had this sort of like an idea that came to my head, which was that I would show to the world my process of getting rid of the rest of my ego by submitting myself to a teacher that is more advanced than I am, okay? Because one thing, and that came also to my awareness, is that I'm honest enough to admit that I'm not fully free of ego, not enlightened, so to say, in the sense of enlightenment being completely free of ego. And well, when this idea came, it was also like knowing that all was a divine arrangement, because it also gives an opportunity to share these kind of things to the whole of South America, because he's from Venezuela, you know, and eventually this could be shared in Spanish. But it's something beautiful anyway, so I put it up in the English channel also. The Spanish channel is ineffabletheo. So it's spelled just like in English, but just with one F. That's how you spell ineffable in Spanish. Okay, so I'll put that video from the satsang just after this one, and I hope you enjoy it. It's also a part of what helped me become free of that illusory ego, as I start understanding more thanks to his help. And of course I'll put a link also to his YouTube channel if you want to listen to him. And he's broadcasting these satsangs on Facebook, so you can actually participate in these satsangs and ask questions if you want. Okay? Hope you enjoy, like these monkeys like playing with my ear now. What's going on? This is Arunachala mountain, by the way. I am next to the cave of Sri Ramana Maharshi, where he meditated for 7 years before he was taken by his devotees to a place a bit more lower than this one. And this behind me is called the main temple. It is quite beautifully geometrically. So I hope you enjoy and be happy. Good day. Namaste. You know, I had this epiphany the other day.
A what?
Like an epiphany. Like,
Epiphany. You love the church.
I was walking up to the Ramana cave, let's say, where he meditated 7 years.
Yes.
And there is this rock
Yes.
where you can see the main temple,
Yes.
like from,
Yes,
it's like a line
I saw it.
from that state, from that place.
Yes.
And I smoked some DMT. And this thought came to my head.
Why
don't
DMT?
why don't you offer to Cesar
Yes. Some DMT.
cut your head in this month and a half that you have left in India?
That's way too romantic. It's more simple than that. See, if you take any of these chemicals, whatever it is, see, for the sake of entertainment, by all means, right? People call it altered state of consciousness. But consciousness doesn't alter. Consciousness is always the same. So there are altered states of mind. See, it's a mental state. See, mind is the perceptor. It's perception itself. Consciousness is consciousness of perception. Right? So the mind is basically energy. See, experiencing itself as I am. Right? And then identifies itself from the body. I am Cesar, and now I am having a mental state, altered state of something. Right? And then all this will be accompanied by thought. See, gross or very subtle. And they, right, why don't I chop my head and offer it to this? See, still there is me thinking about something, right? So
and I realized, because I remember you told me this before, and it's just like it made me laugh and laugh to the point of crying.
yes, but this is still his mental state. See, even ecstasy is a mental state, right? And is that ecstasy is actually the last obstacle to establish oneself in the blissful nature of our reality, right? So you can laugh and laugh and laugh, but you cannot laugh forever, see? And eventually melt away, see? And then the mind merges back into bliss, right? When the mind is absent, which is when it is absolutely still, see, as still as it was in deep sleep and yet awake, and then this is your natural state. Anything else is an illusory movement of the mind. See, that we believe is an altered state of consciousness or a higher state or a different plane or whatever it is. It still is in the realm of the manifestation, therefore it's part of the illusion. The sphere of the illusion is part of the illusion. And the sphere of reality is also the illusion. Because nobody can see the reality, including the reality itself. Am I making any sense?
No.
Right. But to understand this, you need a very clear mind. Your intellect has to be very clean, right? And your mind has to be very still. Even if now you have a residual of your altered, I'm not judging. Who am I to judge? Whatever it is, for the weekends, whatever, right? Then you get used to these things, see, to have these experiences, right?
The funny thing is, it guided me just to pay attention to you, who kind of like against it.
It may happen, see, until a certain extent it produces something, right? But eventually, see, what you are doesn't need anything to be what it is, right? What you are always is, simply is as it is. Neither this nor that. See, it's neither a being nor a not being. It is. Right? So being is the mind, and the not being is the mind when it's not there. So being and not being, right? Being there, not being there. I appear, I disappear. Right? So, but consciousness is not even a being. It's a mistranslation of the word Sat. That which exists is consciousness, is bliss. See, is simply is. You cannot say is this, that, or the other. So that doesn't need anything. It doesn't even. It doesn't even know. I can't even I listen to myself. If I read it, I feel happy. It is, even when it doesn't even know that it is. See, so it doesn't even need to know that it is to be. So much less to drink or smoke or chew anything. I mean, by all means, for entertainment purposes, whatever, right? But so don't take any experience as anything. Right? Any experience is false. The experiencer of the experiences is false. See? The absence of the experiences and the absence of the experiencer is false. See? The one that is conscious of all that is what is reality. Right? And it is the source of what is false, the substratum and the consciousness. I wouldn't even say the witness, because witness needs two. And consciousness doesn't know anything but consciousness. So witness is also a mental state. It's a fourth state of mind, turiya, right? And when the witness collapses, consciousness doesn't see any difference. Or, see, for consciousness there is neither differentiation or non-differentiation. See? Because there is nothing separate that I can feel separated or united with, differentiated or non-differentiated. All that belongs to the mind. By all means. Okay, and now what?
I just listen.
Actually, you are talking about something that you remember. That's your experiences, right?
Yeah.
See, when I was in the cave, so and so, at some period of time in that particular space, right? And this is mine. Time and space, all together.
Yeah, I'm very aware of it. So it's just this relax and this spend some
When
time
the mass
with
gets
this
relaxed, right? But then you can get used, you can identify yourself with the relaxation of the mind, which is experiencing the body. Again, it's a body relaxation. It feels so cool. I'm so relaxed. Consciousness is not even relaxed. See, it's the consciousness of the relaxation of the body and the mind. Right? See, it's prior to, it's way beyond all that stuff. Right? Then when you realize yourself to be that, your point of view about all these things will change. See? That doesn't mean that you may have to give it up, but it's just like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. It's not like a super special tea because it's a different kind of drink, right? It's a different state of mind. So after that, coffee, tea, chocolate, whatever turns you on, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect you because what you are is not affected by any of that stuff. But one can say so only when we know that by first hand. See? Then do whatever you want, no problem. Just be careful, Big Brother is watching.
Who is watching?
Big Brother is watching, just be careful.
Big Brother told me to say this.
No, Big Brother doesn't say one word, I'm telling you. The self doesn't say I. The body doesn't say I. See? Something arises in between. Who is it? Guess who? It's me. This is the last one that comes to the stage, right? Me. Ta-da! First light, right? And the lights illumine the stage, scenario, all that, the lights and all that stuff, and the music comes, ta-da-ta-da-ta-da. And who comes at the end, right? It's me, right? And the ego comes at the end. Ego comes way too late. Who was it? Ta-da, it was me. Way after whatever it was already had happened, right? Oh, it wasn't me, I'm vegetarian, in the elevator, of course. See, it was me, it wasn't me. See, I do it, I don't do it. Right? I am not. Right? I am separate, I am united. See, I am two with, one with, it still is me. Right? Consciousness doesn't say anything. Are you following? Are you still? Also, don't mistake quiet mind for quietness. Right? I'm just giving you some tips and warning signs. After that, I cook my chapatis and forget about it. Quiet mind is still is mind. See? Still mind, still is mind. Right? It's the sense of I am, the pure sense of individuality. It still smells like me. Right? There is consciousness of that, right?
Yeah.
Who is it? I. Or this is the absolute reality. And that's your natural state. Any other state is the United States. Or whatever it may be. Pa, 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 pa. From nowhere to nowhere.
I know. поездку из ниоткуда в никуда.
Back in the carousel.
Назад на карусель.
Right? Different carousel.
Другая карусель.
It's in a different dimension. Still is
Сразу карусель.
multidimensional, doesn't matter, with mirror. Still is the same imaginary horse, imaginary rider.
Все равно еще
Imaginary
воображаемый
ride.
вас катает, и воображаемый седок на ней сидит. И поездка тоже воображаемая.
It's just another room of the same house. It's just
Просто еще одна комната одного и того же дома.
many rooms are in the house of the Lord, Jesus said.
Сколько, Иисус сказал, сколько комнат находится в доме Господа.
It refers to infinite amount of possibilities, infinite amount of dimensions. All dimensions and possibilities are within the frame of the mind, and it is the mind which itself, see, is any possibility. This is potential creative energy, Shakti.
Все возможные измерения, которые есть, но все они существуют все равно в уме.
It is fascinating anyway,
Так или иначе, это удивительно.
with or without identity.
С или без отождествления.
With identity, there is always a other reaction.
Есть
Right?
всегда такая реакция перспективная.
I know so much.
Wow. Oh, look, it's talking to me. The tree is talking to me.
Деревья со мной разговаривают.
Without the ego, it's the same,
Без
but
эго то же самое.
it doesn't really matter.
Не имеет такого значения.
Altered state of New Age is a disaster. I'm
Измененные
telling you.
состояния. Нью-эйдж это?
A disaster.
Нью-эйдж это какой-то кошмар.
Good morning. Nice to see you are not there.
Отлично, что вас там нет.
You were ever there, right?
Если бы вы вообще когда-нибудь тут были.
The experiencer doesn't exist.
Проживающий не существовало.
There is just a wow
Существует.
plus identity with it.
Это просто такое вау, плюс отождествление.
Attach an identity and it's me.
Мы делаем отождествление.
Without me, again, without me,
Без я.
whatever is there is still is there.
Что есть, все, что существует, оно есть.
But it's not differentiated or non-differentiated, not separate, nor united. It's just.
Оно никак не распознается, не
Like there's
считается отдельным или
watching, there's no
объединенным
control.
с чем-либо.
There is consciousness.
Yeah.
Watching still is the watcher is there. See?
Есть сознание, есть смотрение.
For watching, you need the watcher,
Наблюдение. Для того, чтобы было наблюдение, нужен наблюдающий.
the watchman.
Сторож.
But how can we know that the watchman is even there?
Откуда мы знаем, что он вообще есть?
And who knows it?
Кто знает?
Because there is consciousness as a
Потому что
watchman.
есть осознавание вот этого смотрителя.
And consciousness is not watching the watchman, it's not.
И сознание, оно не наблюдает за смотрителем.
Couldn't care less to be honest.
Ему вообще все равно.
And just because there is watching.
Huh?
Only
Watching
because
is.
there is watching.
No. All that is in the field of relativity. Consciousness is.
Смотрение, наблюдение, оно
Yes.
находится в
It's
сфере
the absolute.
относительного.
See, watching is from the relative point of view. See?
Наблюдение это относительно.
Only consciousness is absolute.
Только сознание абсолютно.
Consciousness in its absolute reality.
Сознание в своей абсолютной реальности.
Watching, perceiving, all that, or not perceiving, being or not being, see,
Невоспринимание,
It's
бытие,
part of the-
небытие.
manifests.
Это все относится к проявленному.
Part of the illusion,
Является частью иллюзии.
inseparable from reality.
Неотделимой от реальности.
The other side of the moon.
Другая сторона Луны.
I'm very fascinated by the side of the moon that shines.
Мы очень очарованы той стороной Луны, которая сияет.
Nobody wants to go to the other side of the moon because it's too dark and
На
that
другую
sounds
сторону никто
scary.
не хочет смотреть, потому что там слишком как-то темно.
And if I go there and never come back,
И если я туда пойду, я никогда не вернусь.
So it's one side of the moon that doesn't want to go to the other side of the
Это
moon.
одна сторона Луны, которая не хочет идти на другую сторону.
The visible and the invisible.
Видимое и невидимое.
Now the visible cannot see the invisible.
Но видимое не может увидеть невидимое.
And the invisible cannot see itself.
А невидимое не может увидеть себя само.
It remains invisible, see?
Оно остается невидимым.
Even to itself.
Даже для самого себя.
And yet it knows that it is.
И тем не менее, оно знает, что оно есть.
Only when the visible shows up.
Только тогда, когда видимое появляется.
So the watcher, the perceiver, the witness, everything else, everything that you can possibly think about
Все, о чем вы вообще можете подумать,
is on the visible side of consciousness.
находится на видимой стороне сознания.
Like Advaita Master said, anything perceivable or conceivable, right?
Как сказал Адвайта Махарадж, что все, что можно воспринять или
Is
познать,
here. What is not conceivable nor perceivable is the consciousness of it. It's
оно
beyond.
есть. А все, что нельзя познать или воспринять, это сознание об этом.
Then the mind stop putting all this paraphernalia on life.
Перестает создавать тогда всю вот эту шурупу жизни,
All these decorations.
все украшения.
Look at Arunachala, poor thing.
Смотрите на Arunachala,
In the
бедная.
Vedas it's called the red rock.
В Ведах она называется красная скала.
Somebody decided that it needs some green or something.
Кто-то решил, что ей нужна зелень.
And now it's a green hill.
Теперь это зеленый холм.
And we have to change the Vedas.
Пришлось изменить даже Веды.
And it doesn't make everything cooler, I'm telling you.
И это ничего не делает лучше.
Still is boiling hot.
Прохладнее не делает. Все равно еще ужасно жарко.
Yeah. I said, I'm not coming to India ever again, I'm sick of it. It wasn't India, it wasn't Arunachala, it was the quality of the public. There was no public. Or there was public, but there were no seekers. It's just public, just visitors, curious. The circus coming to town soon, no? Now in November. And I say, I don't want to be part of the circus. No posters, no advertisement, nothing.
Well, already, I mean, just in this last 10 or 15 minutes, it's said it all, really, isn't it?
Oh, that's it. We can go
That's
now and
it.
have a cup of tea. So speak now, forever hold your me. Because otherwise, it's true. This is all what we need to know. Intellectually. Right? Some people can realize it by listening. It's called one of the three, I don't remember which one. Darshan, Sparshan and Varshan. If you are listening, and while listening, see, you realize what you are listening. Right? Only few. Right? You find yourself like, oh, it's there. See, nothing wrong with these kind of people, but they are not. Satsang is for mature ones, right? I mean, beginners can come and you give them some information, but at the beginning they will. What is she talking about? Relative, absolute, open, down, this and that. That's crazy stuff. Right? That's perfectly alright. Go back to the ashram, do your pujas, do your mantras, read your book, purify yourself, make your mind steady, clear your intellect so you can grasp it intellectually at least. And then we can see how can we realize it, right? So, 600 people is just more money on donation, that's all. I don't know what to do with that money because as long as my stomach is full, I don't think about even eating food. I only think about food if I'm hungry, otherwise what's there to think about? Everything is there. Every 4 hours, food. That's all. The mind is awake. See, it has to be awake, fully awake. They translate a little bit.
Он должен полностью бодрствовать.
Mind has to be super awake.
должен быть супер бодрый.
and yet super still.
И тем не менее супер спокойный.
That's it.
Все.
No visions, no
Ни
nothing.
видений никаких, ничего.
The seer
Видящий.
has nothing to see.
Ему нечего видеть.
Then the seer alone remains, see,
Всегда остается только видящий.
still. And then you realize that there is that which sees,
Когда ты осознаешь, что есть то, что видит.
that which sees even the seer.
То, что видит даже
And
видящий.
then that which sees
Когда то, что видит,
is that which actually is.
это то, что на самом деле есть.
And that is your nameless, formless reality.
И это ваша безымянная, бесформенная реальность.
Sometimes when I'm doing this exploration, because everything becomes a bit blurry. Oh. Does that mean?
Absolutely nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
Становится каким-то немного расплывчатым, знаете, есть что-нибудь, насколько я знаю, нет.
It's a mind game.
Игры у нас.
Nothing wrong with that.
Ничего плохого в этом нет.
Did you try all these practices like Kundalini yoga or Tantra yoga or mantras or whatever, austerities?
Ты пробовал все эти вот мантры,
This is the result of that. See?
аскезы, там, так далее. Это все является
See,
результатом.
whatever you write in the pentagram today,
Что сегодня напишешь в нотной тетради,
you will have to listen to the music tomorrow.
завтра придется слушать эту музыку.
See, now all these experiences that you're having,
Все эти опыты, которые сейчас у тебя
see, are the consequences, see,
являются
the
последствиями
consequences of previous action.
предыдущих действий.
So every action produces a reaction.
Любое действие создает результат.
And now you're experiencing, see? So all these experiences, my friend, are the result of previous actions, right? And then the mind is throwing fireworks. Oh, everything is so blurry, everything is so... Now, this experience that is real there, in the sense that when the mind is quiet, still, see, we feel that we are more sensitive, right?
Когда ум спокойно не движется, нам кажется, что мы более чувствительными становимся.
In general,
В общем,
through whichever sense you are perceiving, right?
через какие бы чувства вы там, через какое бы чувство конкретно
And
вы
that
воспринимали,
includes intuition,
это включает интуицию.
and that can include clairvoyance. All these
Может
sort
это
of things can
включить
get activated,
ясновидение, все
right?
эти вещи.
Because consciousness is not unidirectional;
Потому что сознание, оно не однонаправленное.
it's multidirectional,
Оно направлено в разные
and it can be
стороны, во многие
conscious of
стороны.
any possibility at any time.
И вы можете осознать
See?
любую возможность в любое время.
This is why they say it is here and there.
Поэтому говорят,
Right?
что оно там и там,
See, and not here and not there
и не там, и не здесь,
at the same time,
в одно и то же время.
because it's non-located, right?
Что оно нигде не расположено в определенном месте.
But this is the consciousness is already, see, operating, so to speak. So the mind is no longer pretending to be a separate entity doing whatever it pleases.
Сознание,
Right?
оно уже действует, то есть работает, а ум больше не притворяется какой-то отдельной сущностью, которая делает.
But even that should be ignored.
Но даже это необходимо игнорировать.
See, you are just realizing how really sensitive the body is
Вы просто
and the mind
осознаете,
is.
насколько на самом деле чувствительно тело.
See, you're having a cup of coffee,
Если вы пьете чашку кофе
and then you have a sip of it,
и делаете глоток,
and then you, my God, this is fantastic, rah, rah. See, now 20% of your attention is in, see, 80% of your attention is in what you think, and 20%, you are perceiving only 20% of the flavor of the coffee.
и вы говорите: о, боже мой, какой прекрасный кофе. И тогда 80% внимания, оно уже уходит на вот это вот описание опыта, а только 20% остается на проживании вот
So
этого
when the mind is
вкуса кофе.
still,
Когда ум
apparently,
спокойный,
this
кажется,
is more sensitive.
что тело становится более чувствительным.
It cannot be more sensitive than what it already
Но оно
is.
не может стать более чувствительным, чем
Right.
таким,
Is that
какой
you
оно уже
realize
есть.
how sensitive actually the body is.
Вы просто осознаете, насколько оно уже чувствительно.
And sometimes the body becomes numb and you don't feel it. Sometimes you lose body consciousness,
Иногда
right?
тело становится типа как онемевшим, и вы его не чувствуете, иногда вы теряете сознание тела.
And then by your own experience,
И
see,
тогда, согласно вашему
you
собственному
begin to
опыту,
realize how this material work came
Вы
into existence,
начинаете
how it works, what is it made of, and the rest of it. See?
осознавать, как вот эта материя была создана, как она работает, как она функционирует.
It's
и
just
так далее.
energy matters. See?
Это все просто энергия и материя.
Cesar is a conglomeration of patterns of behavior animated by a particular energy, moving in a particular speed or vibration, right?
Цезарь — это просто куча паттернов поведения, и которые вибрируют
And
на
that's mind.
определенной частоте и действуют определенным образом. Это
Energy.
ум, энергия.
Within itself,
Внутри себя
it contains any possibility, any
он
pattern of
содержит любую
behavior.
возможность, любую
All of
модель
it.
поведения.
See? Infinite amount of possibilities, right?
Бесконечное количество возможностей.
Then the frequency of the energy changes and
Частота энергии меняется,
the behavior of matter changes.
меняется поведение материи.
See? By the mere presence of consciousness.
При самом просто присутствии сознания.
The mind just claimed to be the independent at some point. Say,
Ум просто объявляет свою независимость в какой-то
I
момент.
can do this by myself.
Я могу все это сам по себе делать.
And I will create the law of attraction.
Создам закон привлечения.
The law of distraction, I call it.
Я называю это закон отвлечения.
The law of attraction, which is a law of rejection, because you are rejecting that to attract this, right?
Закон привлечения означает закон отвержения, потому что вы одно привлекаете, принимаете, а
So
другое
you still are
отвергаете.
attached to what you want to attract.
И не привязывайтесь к тому, что хотите привлечь.
And still you will be in conflict.
Все еще вы будете в конфликте.
And after you have that cup of tea, you will not be happy because the flavor is gone. Right? So
После
still
того,
is the
как
same
вы
miserable
выпили
life.
чашку кофе, вы будете уже несчастны, потому что вкус ушел.
That you are just attracting more things. You are a very attractive, miserable.
Единственное отличие будет в том, что вы будете просто привлекать
Да.
больше вещей, которые вам нравятся, а
So you
будете
just
все
let
равно
it,
оставаться несчастным,
just let it go.
несчастным
See?
существом.
And you never know.
Отпустите все это, и тогда вы уже не будете.
Realize what the world is,
Осознайте, чем является мир.
and then you realize what you really are
Тогда вы осознаете то, чем вы на самом деле
simultaneously.
являетесь.
See?
Одновременно.
And then when you know what the world is,
Тогда, когда вы знаете, что такое мир,
then you can do whatever you want.
тогда вы можете делать все, что хотите.
It loses the power to
Мир теряет силу
fool you again.
дурачить вас снова.
The illusions loses the power to delude you.
Иллюзии теряют силу очаровывать вас.
Even spirituality,
Даже духовность.
it's very deluding.
Она очень запутывающая.
You can be trapped in an illusory spiritual whatever concept for 20, 30 years.
Вы можете находиться в такой ловушке духовности на 20-30 лет.
Just living a spiritual life in a spiritual places,
Жить духовной жизнью в духовных местах.
having an identity with a spiritual being.
Иметь отождествление с этим духовным существом.